So you've been recently hired by a local fast food place as a delivery rider, and you have to choose what bike to ride. Of course, if it's your own bike, my advice is to get whatever your heart calls for, and as long as it's a fuel-injected 125 and as long as you fit a top box, you can't go wrong. Yes, even old CBR 125Rs count. If, however, you find yourself at a larger franchise with bikes that are owned by the shop, choose this one. Regardless of the condition or performance, choose this one. Even if it has been needlessly and dangerously choked at 30 miles an hour, choose this one. Let me explain. The choices I have available to me right now if I go to work are as follows. Piaggio Tweet, a 2-stroke 50cc dressed up as a 125, but with bicycle tires and brakes and is limited to 30 miles an hour. Honda Vision, 4-stroke 125 that tops out around 50 miles an hour with bicycle tires, weak parts, and the most dangerous braking system I've seen fit to any bike. Oh, but at least the gimmicky stop-start feature can help you attempt to match a CB125F's fuel economy if you really try. And the Piaggio Liberty 125. It's cramped, heavy, inefficient, slow as hell, and the engine light likes to say hello there every now and again. So why am I recommending such an obviously crap bike? Well, if like me, you are thinking a delivery bike should be reliable, cheap to run, and fast in that order specifically, you're probably screaming that the Honda is the obvious choice. Well, yes, it would be, but let me ask you this. Do you enjoy living? Do you like having all your limbs? Do you like being able to walk? Do you hate crashing? These are the questions you can't answer in a spec sheet alone. These are the questions that can only be answered by watching or reading a review video, and I'm sorry I've waited this long to tell you about this, but to be honest, most of you aren't even going to watch this. Most delivery riders do not realize how delicately their lives hang in the balance. Think about how many reckless moped riders you see daily. Think about how many don't even know the highway code when they join Papa John's or Domino's. Those types of riders are only going to either look at the numbers or the brand name and choose Honda, and they will never know the difference. They will never realize that fat tires help a lot, grip and braking on crap roads and crap conditions. They will never understand that the decreased foot room is to make way for a chassis that can actually take turns almost like a motorbike. The fact that ABS will save them rather than try to sabotage them like combined braking will, it will completely go over their heads. And when they finally do crash, they won't realize that the Honda will completely fall apart, but you could just pick the Piaggio up and continue riding. And honestly, I think the Piaggio is the most stylish of the three. It also doesn't look hideous when it's dirty either, and practicality wise, it has more storage than the other two, whilst having a more comfy seat. It doesn't bother me that it gets worse fuel mileage than my R125, because I'm not the one paying, my employer is. Also, just food for thought, I ride this bike more than I have ridden any other bike, and I ride through all weather conditions, including snow. I have not crashed this even one time. I have crashed the 50cc once, the Honda Vision twice, and I've only ever been rear-ended on my R125 one time. Each time I crashed the Honda and Peugeot, it was due to a loss of traction, and the Honda actually tried to take my foot. I have not crashed my 600cc Triumph Speed 4 surprisingly, with its lack of ABS and dangerous fueling, even when it was snowing, so that should tell you something. When you do deliveries as your job, you're putting your life on the line for a paycheck. Wouldn't it make sense to try everything you can to minimize that risk rather than maximize the minuscule profits? Anyway, now that's out of the way, we can talk about handling in more detail. So on most mopeds, you get this distinct feeling that you're getting pushed from behind, and well, that's also present here, like the Porsche 911 of motorcycling almost. You do get this feeling the rear end is overpowering everything that's going on, but at least in this bike, it feels more like a modern 911, well, what I imagine that's like, where you actually have the grip and flexibility to go into every corner. I've out-cornered sport bikes, sport cars, hatchbacks that have tried to cut me off. They have to take the entire, they have to cut across the entire roundabout to cut me off, like across 3 lanes. So, you know, that should tell you something about how high the cornering potential is for this bike. I have only scraped the floorboard one time. That's it. Considering I've easily scraped the side stand on the Piaggio, and the Honda I've scraped pretty much every time I'm riding it. Piaggio has a very high cornering potential, and if you need to run away from, say, thieves or get a delivery done really quickly in the dry, then that's your bike, man. But literally, there's a reason why the handlebars are slightly too close to you, and it's to take the weight off of them. It's so you can sit on the chair and control the handlebars with the smallest of forces. You don't need to manhandle it. It has the right setup for cornering, surprisingly. A more recent model will have you back about $2+ grand, but if you're willing to go further back than that, you can get them way under $1 grand. To be fair, the whole 125 market is completely overpriced, especially now due to lockdown, COVID tax. No one wants to take public transport, and they see a bike as a perfect alternative to that. So everyone's buying bikes now, so all the prices are higher. But also the fact that 125s are always going to be more expensive because it's the bike everyone starts on. Most people just stay on them their whole life. You know, that price should really surprise you, especially given how good the bike is and how popular it is. It's one of the most popular delivery bikes for a reason, and the price is reflected. But I guarantee you it's worth the money if what you're going to use it for is delivering. I will still say if you're using it for private use, get a motorbike instead. Scooters aren't really great. They don't feel nice in general, and you know, motorbikes are, in my opinion, a little bit safer handling wise. But if you really need a scooter and if you're only confident with automatics, then go ahead. This is the one for you.